There's no sound on this one, but there's sound on that one. So it should be okay now, guys, if you can hear me. No, it's okay. No sound, no sound. All right, let's see. Can you guys hear me now? I feel like that. Okay. So Kaylee says good. Mary says good. Vanessa says good. Yeah, we got sound over here. We got sound over here. We got video over here. We got video over here. Yay! Thumbs up and hearts. Yay. Okay, good. Thank you, guys. So I was saying, I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer, Dr. Mama Bear, and coming to you live on mold illness, moons, and the May class. And what the heck does that mean? Hi, Christy. Hi, Dave. Hi, Go. Hi, Fiddler PJ. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Alice from Northern Colorado. Hi, Leah Janelle. Glad everybody could make it. Glad everybody could join me. And so I was saying when there was no sound earlier, but what I was talking about is mold illness. And so I think after parasites, one of the reasons why people have ill health is mold. And mold is so sneaky. How do you get mold? Well, you can eat mold. And so how do you eat mold? Those of you that meal prep might get really mad right now, and that's okay. You can get mold by meal prep. What do I mean by that? Well, you're very proud of yourself because you're trying to eat healthy, and that is amazing. And that is good. And so on Sunday, you cook your chicken and you cook your steak and you cook your veggies and you cut everything. And you're so proud that you have now made 7 dinners for the week or 7 lunches for the week or dinner, which is amazing. A million times better than restaurant food. It's a million times better than fast food. It is very, very, very well done. The problem is if you make all this food, you cook it, and then a day later, your food is starting to grow mold. Dr. Palmer, I can't see the mold. Okay, fine. But have you ever squished, and I have to admit, refrigerator, I was looking to prepare for dinner, and I found some lamb that I had cooked 2 weeks ago, and it had all these little spots on it. What are those white spots? Those white spots are mold. If you have the leftover vegetable in the back and it's got green on it, you have those blueberries or blackberries or strawberries, especially strawberries, they're starting to get that fuzzy mold. You have bread, baked goods, muffins get mold. If you cut the mold out, there's still mold, they grow like octopus, little tentacles of mold in there. And so you can eat mold. Cheese is mold, right? If you like blue cheese, I like blue cheese. Let me know if you like blue cheese. I totally like blue cheese. If you eat blue cheese, you're eating mold. If you eat brie, you're eating mold. If you're eating cheese, you're eating mold, right? So it's not really a big deal as long as you don't have mold illness. Well, how do you, if you consume certain products, how do you get mold? Well, just like you can have a yeast overgrowth, you can have a mold overgrowth. So you can eat the mold. You can eat the mold from eating leftovers, from moldy bread, from moldy cheese, from fermented foods. You can eat too much mold, okay? You can inhale the mold, okay? So I've had patients where they're pressure washing their driveway, and Emily said, I spent 30 years in Wisconsin. I bleed cheese. Emily, that's awesome. Lizzie says she's a huge cheese head. I hear you, Lizzie. I love cheese. I love mozzarella, provolone, brie. So you can post what is your favorite cheese. I would say my favorite cheese is a really good mozzarella, like melt in your mouth mozzarella. I would say that's my favorite. So you guys can let me know, what is your favorite cheese? Hi, Greta. You can inhale the mold. So say you're cleaning your shower and you release the mold particles by disturbing them. You're cleaning out your garage, your shed, you're pressure washing your driveway, and those little mold pieces are flying everywhere. You can inhale the mold. You have a leak, you can inhale the mold. Lizzie likes all the cheeses. Living Good likes baby Swiss. Nice. Greta likes goat cheese. Yes, I like goat cheese too, Greta. You can touch the mold. So you're cleaning out your shower. You're touching mold. You're cleaning out the moldy dish. You're touching the mold. You're cleaning the driveway. You're scrubbing the pool deck. You're scrubbing the tub. you're touching the mold, and you can absorb the mold, okay? Some ladies are really not going to like what I say next, and I apologize. If you have breast implants, if you have had a augmentation, breast implants, in all of the cases I've worked on with breast implant illness, that is a thing. It's not a made-up term. It's where a woman gets breast implants, or a man gets some kind of implant too, because they do make calf implants and butt implants and penis implants. And I mean, it seems like you can get fake anything these days, right? So when there is an implant, when there's something in the body that does not belong, the body does not like it. And what I found in all of the breast implant illness cases I've worked on is that when they remove the implants, and you want to have a physician that knows breast implant illness and they know how to do this properly, just like if you have silver fillings in your mouth, you want to work with a holistic dentist that knows the proper technique to remove mercury amalgams. In all the cases I've personally worked on, there has been mold in the chest cavity where the breast implant was. In all the cases I've worked on, there's been parasitic activity. And so a female wants to change their appearance. Maybe they have small breasts, maybe they have very large breasts, maybe they've had breast cancer, whatever the case may be, they get breast implants. An implant does not belong in your body, so your body rejects it. And it starts to encase it in mold. Parasites like weakened areas. So parasites go there. And so someone may report after getting breast implants that they have foggy thinking, that they have headaches, that they have irregular periods, that they have heavy periods, that they have PMS, that they gain weight, they get inflamed, they don't feel good, they feel nauseous, they feel tired. And then so many of these cases, when we detox out the mold and we detox out the parasites and you take out the toxin, then they feel better. The worst breast implant illness I've ever seen was an older lady. She was in her 80s. And I found this by accident. I was in Quantum Nutrition, we scan different points on the body. So I went to scan her heart point, and I felt a hard golf ball. It felt like a hard golf ball. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, you have something on your chest that feels like a golf ball. And so she was a, older lady. So her breasts were lower in height. And she goes, oh, Dr. Palmer. And it kind of embarrassed me because I didn't want to make the patient feel bad. She's like, oh, that's my breast implant. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry to tell you this. And I don't know if you've told one of your other doctors this. And it seems like, physicians like chiropractors and acupuncturists and naturopaths actually still touch their patients. Physical therapists, right? Doctors of physical therapy, but a lot of other types of physicians don't even touch their patients anymore. They just kind of look at them and write a script, right? And so, as I was touching points on her chest for testing purposes, and I found this golf ball on her chest, and I was very concerned. And I was like, oh my goodness, Mrs. So-and-so, you have something on your chest that feels like a golf ball. And then she's like, well, Dr. Palmer, that's my breast implant. And I was like, oh my gosh, it felt like a golf ball. It was calcified. It was not working properly. And so I told her, I said, look, I want you to go to your surgeon. I want you to go to your doc and tell them, like, something's very wrong. Your breast implant feels like a golf ball. So she did. She listened to what I asked her to do. She went to the doc, and the doc said, well, look, you're in your 80s. I probably not a great idea to do surgery on you. And so, yes, it's calcified, and yes, it's not supposed to feel like that, but we're probably just going to leave it alone at this point. And that's what happened. So the body doesn't like them. I totally can understand from a female standpoint, and especially the pressures of society, why women would do this. I totally get it. But if you're considering breast implants, so if you have friends that are considering breast implants, please send them this video. The breast implant illness is awful. It is awful. But there is hope. There is ways of cleaning up the body. There's ways of getting them removed properly. There's ways of recovering from that. We've had patients recover from that and do really, really well. But unfortunately, I've also had patients where they decided they wanted to have implants and now they're having issues. Okay, so mole illness is a real thing. Some of you have heard the second house I lived in here in Central Florida when I moved back to Florida from California, by the way, had black mold. I didn't know. I had black mold, and I was exhausted in that house. Mold can mimic estrogen and can increase estrogen and can increase your weight. It can cause hormonal imbalances. It can make you have brain fog. It can cause respiratory issues. So some of you guys have chronic coughs, chronic bronchitis, pneumonia. Some of your kids have pneumonia or asthma. Can be from mold, from inhaling mold and getting mold in your lungs. And so mold illness is a real thing. If you have a roof leak, you have mold. If you have a pipe leak, you have mold. If you have not good ventilation in your shower, you have mold. If you have an unfinished basement, you have mold. If you don't have, sorry, I've never had a basement, but the thing that pumps the water out, what is it called? A sump pump? If you have a sump pump, I think it's called that. Help me, basement people that have basements. If you don't have that pump to pump the moisture out, you have mold. Other moldy places. If you live on a lake or you live by the ocean, if you live on an island, you most likely have mold. So mold is really, 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 thank you, Easy does it, right? Sump pump. You can have mold illness, and it's a real thing. So what do you do about it? We have supplementation that can help rebalance the body. We have supplementation that can help absorb mold, right? But you definitely want to handle the mold. And in the construction world, there are people that are very, very knowledgeable in mold, and there are people that really are not. So if you think that you have a mold problem, the last thing you want to do is just dig random holes in your walls and release the mold spores everywhere. You want to seal off the area with someone who does mold remediation, with someone that knows what they're doing, okay? And so it's a very big problem. I found it on multiple patients. When I lived in that house, I thought I was going to die. I was exhausted. I had shortness of breath. I would get dizzy. It didn't feel good at all. Okay. And later it was found out that there was a leak in that house under the kitchen sink. And then later it was found out that the shower pan, so you have your shower, then you have where the water goes, and then there's a pan that's supposed to absorb the water or supposed to hold the water in case something fails. The shower pan had a leak. Okay, so any kind of leak in the house, you want to get it handled. The sooner the better. Emily's saying she has a creek next to her basement and it floods every few years. You have mold. Yeah. I have a patient here in Florida. They actually have a basement, which is unheard of here because Florida has an aquifer and they get water in their basement. It has mold. Okay. So please, 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 if you know you have a leak, take care of it right away. If you have a bad roof, take care of it right away if you can. If you have something with water damage, I've found that people with sunroofs, sometimes the sunroofs, the seal starts to not seal. You can get mold in your car. One of the most disgusting places I've ever found mold, you guys, moms, you're going to be disgusted by this. Dads, you're going to be disgusted by this. Bath toys. Bath toys hold mold, right? So rubber duckies. So those that have rubber ducky, I encourage you to decapitate the rubber ducky. Your kid might be really mad, so maybe you can make it a project. I don't know. But if you cut off rubber ducky's head, which sounds really mean, and you look inside, there's black mold. So our daughter used to have bath toys. And so especially the ones that squirt water, right? And you would soak up the water and squirt out the water. If you don't take all the water out of the toy, or if the toy stays in a wet bucket or in a wet toy container, the bath toys, the ones with the holes, that's right, Greta, the ones with the holes have mold. Yuck. And so instead, use toys that don't have holes, right? Use toys that dry out. And so once I found out that those toys, nasty ones like rubber duckies and squirty bath toys, start to hold mold, you want to get toys that don't have holes in them. So Greta says you can super glue the hole. You could do that. But I would just say, hey, use like beach toys, like shovels or buckets and stuff like that. Really, they just like pouring water, right? So get stuff like that that's supposed to get wet, like a beach toy, and then it won't hold the mold. But really, really gross. And so if you think about it, like Leah's rubber ducky, water would get in it, water would stay in it, wouldn't dry completely, mold would grow in it. And if you squeeze the water out later, black pieces come out, that's mold. And then your kid's sitting in mold. So gross, really, really gross. So that's mold. If you have any of those symptoms, you might have mold illness. We can help you with that. The hardest mold to handle is mold in the work environment. I've had patients that they know they're in a sick building. I have patients that their office is in a basement. I have patients where they know there was a roof leak. There's a building across the street from us that's been for sale for a really long time. And one of the former employees came in as a patient. They're like, I hope no one ever buys that building because it's filled with mold. The carpets were wet. They had mold. I guess they had a roof leak or something. So the carpets got all wet and moldy. I mean, just bad, bad, bad stuff. Okay, moons. So what about moons? Why are we talking about moons? I was enrolled at the University of Florida in an astronomy class, and I thought it was the dumbest class ever because I thought I'm gonna be in sports medicine. Why do I need astronomy? Who cares about stars and moons and planets and like it's out there and like what a dumb viewpoint I had, right? Because of course everything has an effect, right? Everything's interconnected. And so I wish I had stayed in the astronomy class because maybe I could have a better explanation for the effect, the negative effect that moons can have on the body. This weekend coming up is a new moon. And what we've observed working with hundreds of patients, thousands of patients at this point, is that certain cases will act up during a new moon. What do I mean by that? Well, some people report during a new moon that they feel more emotional. They're more sad or more angry, more irritable. Some people report bloating. Some people report nausea, fatigue, problem sleeping. Why? Because the moon has an effect on us. A moon has an effect on our tides. If you talk to sailors, they know moons have an effect on tides. So if it affects tides, which are water, it also can affect creatures that are contained with water, like parasites. We have parasites that can live in our digestive tract, that can live in our eyeballs, that can live in our brain, that can live in our heart. If the moon affects tides, which are water-based, and the moons can have an effect on pressure, they also can have an effect on parasites. So sometimes by new moons or full moons, parasites are more active. If parasites are more active, you might have more cravings for sweets. You might have more cravings for chocolate. You want to eat the whole package of chocolate chip cookies. I've had that before, right? You're like, chocolate. You might want to have ice cream. You might want to have brownies. Now that I'm talking about that, some of you guys might have went to the cupboard and grabbed some chocolate or grabbed some cookies. And so it tends to stir these bugs up. If you're doing the full moon protocol, if you're working with us on parasites, then you can just so say that you're on pair 1, maybe you need to talk to your practitioner and increase your dose of pair 1. If you're on pair 3, then maybe you need to increase your dose of pair 3 during this time. If you're taking pair 3, maybe you need to put a little bit on your hand and rub it into your tummy, and that can help you with the nausea. So new moons definitely have an effect, definitely can cause issues. And how do we handle them? We find out what's the cause. We may increase the dose, we may decrease the dose, and definitely lower carbohydrates, lower sugar, and lower alcohol or no alcohol would be preferred. All right, and then what's up with the main class? So I teach quantum nutrition testing. That is the technique. That is the technology that we apply in the office to help people heal naturally. We look for the cause of problems. So we talked about mold. So maybe you're having the symptom you're having. Maybe you're having those migraines because you have mold illness. Maybe you're having the irregular periods because you have breast implant illness. Maybe you're bloated and have diarrhea because you have parasites. Maybe you have been exposed to a toxic metal or a chemical or that kind of thing. So with the quantum nutrition technology, we use frequencies to test to see if you're suffering from any of these things. And if you are, we look for the exact right supplementation to balance out the body. So many people have expressed interest in learning quantum nutrition testing. that we started teaching quantum nutrition in live classes here in Florida. Our May class, so our March class was our first class, completely sold out in less than a week. May class sold out in a couple days. And so those of you that still want to learn quantum nutrition testing, there is hope for you. I opened up a new date. I opened up a July class. So it's July 28, 29. If you go to, I'll type in the link for you. If you go to www.qntacademy.com, you can sign up. The class is $444. It's a 2-day class. It's a Friday, Saturday class. It's both seated instruction and hands-on instruction. So if you are afraid of people, if you want to stay 6 foot away from people, if you want to wear masks, if you are afraid of germs, then this is not the class for you. If you want to pop a whole bunch of pills, this is not the class for you. But if you are interested in holistic healthcare, if you want to help out your family, if you want to help out your community, if you want to help out kids, then this is the class for you. What kind of degree or certification do you need to attend? You don't have to have any degree. You don't have to have any certification. But what you do need to have is the desire to help people heal naturally, okay? And so I've had homeschool moms, I've had realtors, I've had dog groomers, I've had yoga instructors, flight attendants, doctors of chiropractic, acupuncturists, naturopaths, nurses, registered nurses, nurse practitioners, massage therapists, you name it, chiropractors, you name it, have taken the class. All levels, all different degrees, all different certifications, definitely took home data that they could apply immediately. So this is not a course that you take and you have your little manual and you put it on the shelf and you never touch it. This is stuff you could use right away. And so Beth is one of my students. She says it's amazing. Greta said it's well worth it. Already helping people. Super well done, Greta. I love to hear that. Beth, I know, is helping people as well. And it's just super exciting. So if you want to join us in July, go to the link, sign up. As soon as the class is filled, it'll be gone, and that will be it for that class. I'd love to have you. Florida in July is beautiful. It's going to be super nice on the warmer side, but super nice. The hotel that we're at has a pool. We're close to the East Coast beaches. You're a couple hours away from the West Coast beaches. Just awesome. So that's my topic. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you guys have questions, post the questions. But I want to make you aware that mold is a real thing. Mold illness is a real thing. If you have friends with breast implants and they seem to have changed, gained weight, foggy thinking, breakout acne, they're suffering. So share this video with them. If your kids act like crazy people, or your teacher and your students act like crazy people around new moons and full moons, now you know why. If you're having trouble sleeping this weekend, now you know why. And then if you think what we talk about is interesting, if you think that holistic healthcare is the healthcare of the future, then join us. I'd love to have you. I'd love to meet you. I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer, Dr. Mama Bear. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Love you guys. Goodbye.